This is a video about a lawsuit that I was in personally. It covers some important information from a prior video, plus what to do if you're ever in a lawsuit yourself. In the summer of 2006, I embarked on a venture to become the director of an international credit union. And after 2 years of research, I was convinced that it would be a very profitable addition to our company's bottom line, and that it would be an additional option to our clients who wanted to hold funds internationally. So I could combine my decades of experience helping clients open international bank accounts with my former business of helping people buy and sell private real estate mortgages. So it was off to a great start. I did real estate loans, the market was booming, and it wasn't unusual to have multiple offers on the same house the day it went on the market. Then in 2008 and 2009, the global financial crisis hit. During the 5-year period from 2008 to 2012, a whopping 468 U.S. banks failed, including the biggest failure in U.S. history, Washington Mutual. Now, when this small credit union had millions of dollars in loans out on real estate developments, the real estate market had the biggest value crash of our generation. The developers on which the credit unions had loans walked away in droves, leaving the tiny lender holding the bag. Now, stuck with a slew of half-built houses, the credit union had to foreclose on them, finish construction, and try to sell the homes in a market where homes were not selling. We had to find contractors to finish the work, pay property taxes, and wrench our guts out hoping somebody would buy the completed properties. People broke into the empty properties repeatedly, stealing the appliances, the hoods over the ranges, stripping all of the interior and exterior light fixtures, stripping the carpets from the floors, and even stealing the furnaces. It was an absolute bloodbath. I laid in bed at night staring at the ceiling with dread and sweat dripping down my temples. And then the shocking thing about it is that I'd only get paid if the credit union realized a profit. So unfortunately for all the toil and heartache, neither I nor my companies received a penny. Nothing. So we had to have our attorneys contact the remaining dozen or so credit union members. About 9 people settled for reasonable amounts, and 3 sued. And the ones who sued didn't say, "We understand, you guys are really trying hard, but the real estate market was tough." No, their attorneys manufactured vile stories, and we were called everything but the devil. And I'd never felt such intense pain of stress in my entire lifetime. In fact, I developed a nervous jaw-popping twitch as the result of the stress that likely caused permanent damage to my jawbone. Of the 3 lawsuits, we won one so strongly that the other side had to pay our legal fees. One settled, and in the first one we were just creamed. It had been 10 years of work and gut-wrenching legal battles that finally came to a close. The gut-wrenching endeavor that consumed nearly 20% of the years that I'd been alive in this earth was finally over. I felt a tremendous sense of relief that I hadn't felt for ages. And to those who were affected by this, plus those who had to witness me as tight as a ball of rubber bands, I had to give a genuine apology, as I do now. Those who had to experience some of the brunt of this didn't deserve to go through it, and I take full responsibility for it. I tip my hat to those of you watching this who stood with me through these challenging times, and I appreciate you, and I especially appreciate my family. So, what are the lessons learned? Number 1, if you ever get sued, you'll get accused of unsavory things. That's how lawsuits work. Don't get mad about the accusations and dig in your heels like I did. Be forthright with the information and answer the questions openly. In addition to getting involved with this credit union in the first place, that was my biggest mistake at trial. I let my emotions get the best of me and refused to answer easy questions, and regardless of the circumstances, that one thing alone did not bode well when the ruling came down. If you don't answer the questions, the other side's going to win. Okay? In the second trial, I learned my lessons, answered the questions more openly, and won the case. This, in addition to some technical issues, helped win at trial. Number 2, get experienced people to head up the enterprise with you. It doesn't take a genius to run a business when things are going well, but when the world is falling down around you, that's when experience pays dividends. You don't want your lack of experience when the economy tanks to hurt other people, like what happened in this case. Number 3, people will spread rumors about you. They'll talk about you, but many will not speak to you. In fact, there's a popular magazine that lets anyone sign up online to write articles for them. In fact, in my case, a competitor wrote an error-riddled blog on this online publication. And some members of the public and some former friends read it, and then they sucked it all in and believed it as if the person writing it had a front row seat watching the whole thing. Rather than a simple phone call to ask if these things were true, and to see the obvious conflict of interest of a competitor writing the article, instead, a few cut off communications and rumor-mongered. Expect the same. Number 4, full disclosure is the name of the game. If I had my employees tell every customer that I was one of the directors of the institution, the customers could have made better decisions. I didn't do that, and that was my fault. So I hope this is helpful to understand the situation, and I hope that you're never in a similar position. But if you are, I hope you find this information useful. Thank you.